Okay, great. So, my name is Emma Banks. I'm a homeopath. I'm here to help you. I am just doing my first few Facebook Lives here, so I'm kind of getting to know how this works. Today, I just want to take a little look at the miasms in homeopathy. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the miasms. This is not like a introductory video. It's definitely something for people who have been using homeopathy for a while. Classical homeopathy, constitutional care is definitely who this video is more intended for, and it's intended for you as education if you want further education on the miasms, as it's kind of like a complex subject to understand. And me as a homeopath, like I'm learning more and more about these and how they apply and how they're useful in my practice all the time. It was not a concept that was easy to conceptualize in the beginning. I think I was probably even kind of behind on understanding miasms in the beginning, but I think now that I've been practicing for years, that I actually use it. Well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. In my practice, depends if it's applicable to the situation. As with all of the techniques that I use in my practice, the interview I do with the patient, the client, is dependent upon what they need, where their focus is. So the techniques used they're not decided upon in like before I talk to you. They're decided upon as I see what you need, where your areas of struggle are, and what is going to be helpful for you in that moment, as well as in finding the homeopathic match for you. So I know that some people, once they start getting into homeopathy, they hear the word miasm thrown around, they start to do some research. It becomes very interesting. And so this video is for you. So miasms, they were discovered by Samuel Hahnemann, who's the inventor of modern homeopathy. He was using his medicine very successfully there in the beginning for acute issues, but it was not as successful for, he would cure someone, they would get better, and then they would get worse again. So he's like, why is this coming back? So there must be something going on underneath that's making these things come back. And so that's sort of the beginning idea of the miasms. And he had 3 categories. And so I'll talk to you about those 3 categories. There's another modern homeopath named Sankaran. And he's known for the Sankaran sensation method. He's an 3rd generation Indian homeopath. Pretty neat to have your grandfather, father, and yourself be a homeopath, and you must know a lot, right? And so he really created a new understanding of the remedies and also the understanding of the suffering in people and how to help that. And he has I think his perception of and his presentation of the miasms in homeopathy is one of the most use, because it's kind of it's a synopsis. It's a synopsis and keywords of concepts that we've gone over in great depth in school. So if you had this book as someone who's not in homeopathy school, you would maybe find a concept in there that you found interesting and then go and research further. And he's just here put his keynotes in, and I've added some words here and there. It's kind of like a quick reference book for that. If instead of me having to go through a whole book, I have it all in a chart, and then I find something in this chart from Sankaran, and then I can go confirm that in my books if I need to, because I still use books. I'm not quite on the I'm not using a lot of computer program yet because we have all our books in community programs, using a lot of more literature. Okay, so a lot of homeopaths will go and use the first thing they'll do is use a repertory that is online or electronic. I'm still like using the chart. So I have a different, my brain is made for that. So that's why I'm referencing that. It might be different from how your homeopath works, who they might know more the rubrics than I do, whereas I know more categories. Okay. So, I'm just going to go over the three main miasms, just for information, for interest. So the first one, the first one's back here. It's called Sora. The second one, and I've kind of changed the names because the names in homeopathy are a bit, the choices that we have for the names of the miasms can be a bit alarming, and I just don't want to use those words. I can use other words that don't mean other things, because there can be things that in regular mainstream talk, when you're talking to your friends, or in medicine, they mean something, but when we're talking about homeopathic medicine, they mean something else. So to not get you mixed up with that, I'm going to name the miasm something different. So we have our Sora. That's the same thing in homeopathy. It's called Sora, calling it Sora. Then we have avoidance miasm, and we have destruction miasm. So those are my three big categories that I'm going to talk about today. So in Sora, I didn't give you a definition of miasms. Miasms are the pace and depth of a disease, or pace and depth of the struggle that the person is going through, the organism is going through. I say organism because it's mental, emotional, psychological, all dimensions, including the physical. So what is the pace and the depth of that? Sankaran says depth, pace, and perception. Okay, so in Sora, it could also be called the worry miasm. So things are okay, but we're worried that they might not be. Now, the person experiencing that might not have that first part. They just might be worried. They're worried. And they're worried. The thing that they're worried about is solvable. Effort is needed, but it is within one's capacity. I'm using Sankaran's word. So they still have hope. They still have optimism, because they're worried about something, but it's a solvable something. They have that capacity to, it's able to happen. An example would be like someone is canoeing down a river and there's a rock, and they're choosing which way to go around the rock. So you see, it's a worrisome because there's a rock in the river in front of you, but you have two paths to go around it, and then it'll be behind you. And you have your paddle, or I'm kind of doing a kayak. That's kayak paddle. You have your paddle. So they can make the effort, they can get it done, but sometimes they will, or they'll give up easily, and kind of lack self-confidence. This is a different giving up than is in the other miasms, because it's I'll give up, lack self-confidence, but then someone can kind of build up my confidence, and then I'll try it again. If my first thought at the rock might be, oh no, but then they're like, okay, make a decision. Okay, go right. Okay. And then we're on to the next thing. Do I think any more information for you about that? So it's going to kind of become more clear, I think, if I do the other two miasms, because And the miasms we use, they're not constitutions, they're not like temperaments. They are how the struggle is expressing itself in you. It can change. Your body can be in one, your mind can be in another, although that's more rare. Usually it's one and together. The society itself is in a kind of miasm. Groups can have a miasm, but obviously for what I do, I'm looking at the individual, and it's most pertinent when you're healing to look at yourself, the individual, which miasm you're in, and that it's not, there's not one that's better than the other. It's just what's happening, and it gives you information into what homeopathic is going to be helpful for you, because we categorize also the remedies into different miasms, and it can also give you insight into why certain things that you've tried before aren't working and what other things might work. So someone in Sora, the miasm I'm talking about now, they could go to the chiropractor, and they could have a really great visit, and it could help them right away, and that could last. Or they could also like have a really great visit and it doesn't last long at all. Well, it sort of like lasts maybe a week and then kind of goes back, but then they go back and it helps again, and eventually it sort of gets better. It's like, but it doesn't get that bad either. It doesn't get like daily life doesn't become impossible. And when it gets better from the chiropractor, it doesn't like become amazing, but it's like it's sort of like this is how the teacher sort of, it doesn't go into the depths and doesn't go into the like highs, but it's worry. That's worry. All right. Number 2 is the avoidance. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Number 1. I'm still in number 1, which is worry or Sora. So continuous struggle. Like I said, it's like a teenager learning to drive. So you're really worried, but like eventually, you're going to get your license. If I make an effort, I can do it. Hopeful and must struggle to maintain the position. I need to plug in my computer. You know what? I'm going to end it there. 13 minutes. That's a very listenable. So that was just miasm number 1, Sora or the worry miasm. If you would like to work with a homeopath, I'm right here. I would love to work with you. All right. Feel free to comment with any questions about Sora or anything else. Bye.